So my name is Wyonna JeanBritten, and I'm a biotechnologist. I'm also the CEO and founder of the Organic Biochemist. And I'm about to be on the Online Prosperity Show, where we're going to be talking everything about skincare, hair care, and self-love.
Now, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show, your go-to destination for exclusive insights into trailblazing entrepreneurs, innovators, and change makers. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we're going to be diving into a story that blends science, sustainability, and self-love. Now, Wyonna, how are you doing today?
I am doing awesome, Prosper. How are you?
I am doing mighty fine. I'm really excited about what we are about to embark on. And given your life story and your experience and the things that you have done to get to where you're at, I can't wait to jump into the jaws of, that story, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, for those that are wondering what I'm talking about, referring to Jones, well, let me just drop your jaws with that. So joining us today is Wyonna JeanBritten, the award-winning biotechnologist and founder of the Organic Biochemist. So from studying Nile crocodiles to formulating organic hair care products, Wyonna's journey is anything but ordinary. So if you've ever faced challenges, maybe finding products in your hair, especially myself, that really truly cater to your natural beauty, or if you're curious about turning personal struggles into impactful solutions, I think this episode is going to be for you. Now, Wyonna, I could go on and talk about things that I'm not even qualified to talk about. Tell us, your journey starts off with crocodiles.
Yeah, so that's where it essentially began from. So I studied, I'm based in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. So I studied at the local university called the National University of Science and Technology. So that's where I did my master's degree in biotech. And for any degree, basically, you need to have a project. So I decided what is something different and unique that hasn't really been done in Zim? And I was like, you know what? Let me go play with crocodiles. I don't think anybody has done that before. So for my dissertation, what I was essentially doing, because I specialized in genetics in my degree. So what I was doing, I was finding out the genetic variation of Nile crocodiles in the different crocodile farms based in Zimbabwe. Because most of our crocodile farms, the crocodiles are reared for export of the meat as well as the skin, where they make crocodile boots and all of that good stuff. But I found out that the problem that they were having is that these crocs were having so many different defects on the skin. They were having all these diseases that kept reoccurring. So I had this sort of inclination that it may have been due to inbreeding. So I had to prove that. So that's where I got into the picture now. I went to the different farms. I got samples. I know this is going to sound really gory, but I didn't murder any crocodiles, okay? They were being routinely slaughtered, and I took their hearts so that I could extract DNA. So I didn't go kill the crocodiles. It was purely for scientific work purposes.
Absolutely.
So that's how so that's how I managed to isolate the DNA. And then using different websites and science-based innovations, I managed to then link the crocodiles to their very, very, very first ancestral parents. And from those diagrams and platforms, I was able to see that there was a significant amount of inbreeding. That's why each generation of crocodile was being born with these different effects. But there were actually some farms who would go into the wild, like the Zambezi River, and harvest wild crocodile eggs to bring in that variation. And you'd see that in that farm, the defects were less because there wasn't that constant inbreeding process. So it was quite a fun process. I even got to work with another scientist in South Africa who collaborated with me on the whole thing. I think it was really something very unique and different for Southern Africa. And they asked to see my final dissertation. The Crocodile Association of Zimbabwe actually took it through and they're implementing the changes that I recommended. So it was quite a very exciting project, I must say.
Absolutely. And congratulations on that. First of all, you went on for something that is unique. And second of all, crocodiles are just animals that either they're sweet to look at, they're nice to wear, but I don't think they're easy to be around because of their, yes, because of their carnivorous nature and things of that nature. So how would you go about, your day-to-day research and things of that nature? You said, you were going to these farms and the like.
Okay, so I was very fortunate because generally these farms are very secretive. They don't just allow anyone onto their premises. I mean, for intellectual property and all of that, but I don't know what it is. I just managed to worm my way in. So I visited about 6 farms, starting from Victoria Falls all along the Zambezi and Kariba area, some farms in Harare as well, which is our capital city in Zimbabwe. So basically, a typical day, we'd wake up in the morning, they would show me around the farm. I would isolate which crocodiles I would want the samples from. They would show me the parents of the generation that I'm isolating DNA from. And luckily, they handled all the catching of the crocodiles. I just stood there and looked pretty while they did all the hard work. Because, there's no way I was going to go catching crocodiles. No, I just needed the heart. That's all I needed. So I'd watch them do the whole process, which was quite they do it very ethically. I mean, of course, with any slaughterhouse or farm, these procedures need to be done in an ethical way. I mean, you're dealing with the life, even though it's an animal, and they have routines and they have their different processes of how they catch, how they stun the crocodile, how the meat is taken out, how they separate the skin from the crocodile. It's really done so professionally. They have really, really good actual labs where these things are done. They're not just done like on the outside of the building in the sun. It's really, really professional how everything is done. So it was quite interesting. Then once I've collected my samples, I came back to Bulawayo, to the university, isolated my DNA, sent some as well to M.E.D.I.A Biotech, which is based in South Africa, who also did extra analysis for me and sent me back the results. So it was a collaboration of many different innovative bodies to come up with the results. So it was quite exciting.
Now, Wyonna, I think this is quite revolutionary what you did, but I'm only just asking based on, just the cultural norms and the conception that people would have had if you would just maybe stand in front of an audience in a public place and then just tell them, yeah, my job is to extrapolate hearts from crocodiles. What would be the consensus of the people around you, or even the people that you lived with? What was that general feel of, you telling them that this is what I did for my dissertation?
For my dissertation, I hear you. It was a mixture of shock and awe, if I'm being honest. Shock in the sense like, okay, first of all, why would you choose to go and play with crocodiles? Like, is she okay? Like, what's wrong with you? What's going on in your life, Wyonna? Why are you doing this? And then there was the awe side of it where people were like, this is actually something so cool and so unique. And we've never ever thought about doing a study like that in Zimbabwe. So kudos to you, but nobody would tag along with me for the ride. They'll give their support from a distance. Like, no, you can go to the farms. You can do all of that. And then also, if you look at today's society, especially with all these cruelty-free organizations, which we really, in fact, need them, because, we need to be ethical in everything that we do. And you have some people looking at you thinking that, okay, you're going to these farms, they don't have procedures and standards for ethical culling and all of that, and you going there as well, you're just basically taking away crocodile hearts to do studies that only for your dissertation. But that was not really the heart I was going into it for. I was going into it to solve a problem, because these farms were giving defected animals, and that was an issue, because export is one of the biggest builders of our economy here in Zimbabwe. So, and crocodile meat is one of the most booming and growing ones. So I went in there to solve an issue which they've actually implemented, and in the long run actually benefits the animals. You know what I mean? They're not being inbred, they're not having these defects, and which is basically in itself animal cruelty. So yeah, it was quite a mixture of shock and awe going into the project. And then of course people have their traditional beliefs, like you can't play with crocodiles like that, it's uncultural, the ancestors, you always have so many different views and mixtures about things. It's taboo. If you do this is going to happen to you. You should be careful, because even the areas themselves are associated with a lot of witchcraft. So now you're going to an area that is already, termed to be devilish, and you're going there on top of that to play with the crocodile. So it's already it's already a lot going on. But yeah, it was interesting, and I really enjoyed it, honestly. I really did. And I'll safely say that I wasn't bewitched at all. Everything went very well.
Absolutely. I can only imagine. And what sort of transportation did you use, going in between these places? Because knowing the distance between Bulawayo and Victoria Falls, it's about 400 kilometers. And going to Harare, you'd have had to fly or plane or take a train and things like that. And I can only imagine you're walking around with a cooler box full of crocodile hearts. And I'm just, looking out for the citizens here and what their perception would have been.
I hear you. So I drove all the way. So Bulawayo to Vic Falls, to Kariba, to Harare. I was on the road driving. And yes, I did have my cooler box with my ice, but it wasn't drinks in there. There was no Coke in there, right? It was hot. But yeah. So yeah, it was a very long trip. I mean, but it was fun because I also got to see a lot of the country while doing it. So I can actually say that my dissertation exposed me to a lot of the beauty of Zimbabwe. So yeah, we drove. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I just wanted to obviously verify that aspect. So from there, you then tell us, how did you go with this academic journey? What was the outcome, and what have you got to report?
Okay. So after the project, everything was just so well accepted by, like I said, the whole Crocodile Association of Zimbabwe took my project in, implemented it, actually sent it out to all the farms across to say, we need to implement these changes, we need to adjust how we're doing our things. So, and as well as in South Africa as well, I did send my dissertation to the bodies I was working with so they could also implement it in their own way. So it was quite exciting. And yeah, so then that project finished and I graduated from university as well at that time. And in Zim, there's very high unemployment rates. It's very difficult for you to find a job, especially as a young person coming straight out of university. And So, as well as at that same time, I think I was going through my own self reflection journey, looking at myself and really trying to figure out who I am as an individual. And the story actually started with my hair, right? So I used to relax my hair. I used to use a lot of relaxers growing up because it was just the in thing. Like you wouldn't really appreciate your natural hair because it was hard to deal with. Nobody really understood how to deal with your natural hair. I mean, I grew up relaxing my hair. But then the side effects of this, because of course I'm a science student, so now I understand that some of the chemicals used in these relaxers are very damaging. They're carcinogenic as well. And whenever I would relax my hair, it would burn my scalp. And I was like to myself, you know what? That was the same time actually that this whole natural hair revolution was beginning in America with the black community there. And I'd watch these YouTube videos of these people like embracing their natural hair. And I'll be like, you know what? Why why don't I love my hair in that way? Like, who told me that my hair is not beautiful just the way that it is? Why do I feel like I need to change it for it to be beautiful? So that whole process, I think, took about a good 7 months where I was just looking at myself and looking at how I deal with life. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna cut my hair. So I'm a drastic person, hey. So I shaved my head, not bald, but I really cut it into like this little afro. And I was like, you know what? Either I go all in or I'm just going to like fall away by the wayside. So I cut my hair and I decided that I'm just going to choose to be authentically me. And that's how the journey started. So I would first, of course, some didn't really have a lot of natural hair products. So I'd have to bring them in from South Africa, and it would prove to be expensive because that time, remember, the industry was just starting. There was this whole big boom. So, when some things are new, they tend to be very expensive because it's now a trend. So everyone wants to buy these products. So they're very expensive. And once I'm in Zim, I have to bring them in from South Africa. And I was like, no, what? This is eating into my budget. And one day I just woke up and I was like, wait a minute. I am a biotechnologist, by the way. Why don't I just formulate these products myself? So
Yeah.
that's how the journey started. I started formulating. I went and I did an extra degree based in the UK for natural skin care and hair care, a diploma, just to add on, just that extra oomph onto what I already have so that when I'm formulating, I actually know what I'm doing coming from a place of genetics. Do you know what I mean? So that's when I started my brand. That was in 2019. I started the natural hair brand. That's when I launched it in Helgotutu in Bulawayo. And it was so well received. Like I was actually so in awe the amount of people who actually came to the launch party. They all had their afros out. And I was like, oh wow, people have been looking for something like this. They just didn't know where they could find it. And it wasn't really easily available in them. So and on that very same day I sold out. It was really, really, it was shocking and it was an amazing day. So that's how I basically began my brand. So it's called Kinked. So it's an offset of the Organic Biochemist. Kinked for like, kinky curly hair, celebrating our African hair textures.
Absolutely. And congratulations on that, because, normally when people come across a problem, they look up to others to get solutions, but you took it upon yourself, given the expertise that you already had, to create something that obviously suits you and things of that nature. Now, with new beginnings, like you said, because I remember growing up, my mom would do Revlon, all that stuff, putting it on their hair, and it would start receding hair because they're just putting so many chemicals that they didn't sort of understand what was going on. And I also think, the culture had just put it in such a way that the Caucasian type hair is what is perceived
Yes,
as beautiful. But
beautiful.
you did say people were receptive to the formulations and were willing to try it on their own hair, or did they just come to the launch just to see if nobody's hair has been burnt yet?
I think they were receptive, and they were definitely keen to begin this journey. I think lots of the people just didn't have the knowledge. That's when I saw it's all about knowledge. Because how you look after a looser hair texture like the Caucasian one is very different to how you look after natural hair. So that's why there was this perception that it was hard. So when I did my launch, I also did like a mini education session where I would actually teach them that no, your hair is actually not hard and brittle. It's just dry because there's no moisture in it. If you use this product and if you hydrate your hair in such a way, you'll find that it's so easy to comb through. You don't have to actually break your hair strands for a comb to go through your hair. So it was just mostly education. And I've seen from my launch date up to now, I mean, we're in 2025 now, I have got hundreds of recurring customers. They keep coming back. People love the products out there. People are coming to test them out as well. So I think it was just mostly about education to impart to them that, you know what, it's not that our hair is hard and not pretty. We weren't educated on how to look after our hair because the standard that we just had was the Caucasian market. That's
And
where the issue was.
absolutely. And as you understand, representation matters. And you started looking up to,
Yes.
all the people in America that were standing proud because of their hair and actually enjoying, that. Was it easy for you to then find maybe the ingredients that were required in order to make these formulations? Because they had to be some sort of obviously, since you're a biochemist, you would understand, but sourcing of these ingredients or the formulation that you came up with.
Okay, so it was difficult in the beginning, I'll be honest, because when I started off my brand, I really wanted to create it from an angle of naturalness and organic. So for your brand to be built on such a thing, especially to get certification for such, you have to start actually from the source. So that means your ingredients have to be certified organic and natural. Your packaging has to be natural. It has to be paraben free, sulfate free. Like there's all these different terms that come into play before you can actually hold the finished product in your hand and be able to prove it to the customer that this is organic, this is natural. So here in them, there's no place really where you can buy certified and organic products or raw materials, basically. So I get basically 90% of my stuff from South Africa. So I work with certified companies that actually can give you a certificate to prove that this is sourced legally, it's natural, there was no chemicals added, no pesticides added in the field while it was grown. The people harvesting also it's not done under child labor, there's fair wages. There's so many things that come into play when you're making a product. People just think that you just go into your kitchen, mix a few oils together, put it in whatever jug that you find and you sell. But there's so much that goes into it, especially if you want to grow your brand to an export level. I think the market in Southern Africa is very forgiving. And the reason why I say that is that, right now I can take my product to a departmental store and they will stock it. They won't necessarily always ask me, oh, Wyonna, can you give me certification to prove that your product complies with all of these things, is very forgiving. I can't do that in Dubai. I can't do that in the EU. They will ask me for certification after certification. They will ask me for, am I really practicing good manufacturing processes? And I need to be able to actually prove that I'm just not cooking my hair butter in the kitchen while I'm frying my chicken by the side. You have to prove a lot of things. And that's why when I was starting my brand, I had to make sure that from the get-go, I make sure that all these things are in place so that when I now enter into the export market, I don't have to now go back to the beginning, start looking for certified sources of raw materials. I can just build from where I am and grow. And it's been quite a journey, but I'm happy to say that I'm actually in the process, and I'm excited also because I'm now working on cruelty-free certification, the leaping bunny, on the products where there's that little bunny there that shows that your products are cruelty-free. I'm actually working with the UK now on certifying my products so that I can actually have a global certification to my brand. So it's quite exciting, and it's been quite a long journey to get here.
I can imagine, and congratulations on that front. Now,
Thank you.
you did mention earlier on that, when you would go to a crocodile farm, everything would be laid out. Everyone would help you out with all of these things. But I don't think that's the same with you running your own business, where you literally have to start from scratch, and you are the formulator, you're the branding person, you're the compliance person, you're the accountant, you're everything else that comes along with it. Walk us through how, obviously, starting this business, did you have any formal business training that you had with you, or how did you navigate all of this?
Yeah, you know what? I think, if I'm being honest with you, when I started off my business, you know how people make it look like entrepreneurship is the life, like you be living your best life. Let me tell you this, it is a scam. You work and you don't ever stop working. It's not like a 9 to 5 job. Like, you literally go, you check in at 9, you knock off at 5, and no matter what, your salary is coming at the end of the month. It's not the same when you're running a business. You can
Well,
work from 24 hours, Sunday to Sunday.
Wyonna, speak, talk for yourself there. I don't know about you, but I'm working right now. I'm at work.
You Oh, I'm sorry, you see, no, you know what happens in the beginning, it's like that, and then when you now get to my stage, you can just have impromptu podcasts because you've made it in life, you see.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can
Yeah.
attest to that. It's not easy. We might joke about it or whatever it is, but it's one of those things. And I'm also happy you did this at a time when you were on a self-discovery journey, because had you not gone on that sort of journey to start off with, you would have been not ripping crocodile hearts out, but people's hearts out, because you just can't stand, how some people just don't get the passion that you have when it comes
Yeah.
to, putting
Mm.
something out there in the world.
It is. That's so true. And I think this journey has also taught me to have grit. Because when you're starting off any kind of project or any brand, you expect people to like rally beside you and support you and, be the first ones queuing up to buy your shampoo. And when they actually didn't, I was like, wait a minute. These people don't care that I've worked so hard, and
Yeah.
they don't like my things, and they're not coming to buy, especially when it comes from the people who matter the most, like your family.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere, I don't know whether it was on LinkedIn or on Facebook, where it said that your family members are not your customers. They really aren't. Don't expect them to come and buy. Some, of course, will, but your customers are out there. Save yourself the heartbreak of wanting people to come and rally around you and support you in that sense. You just have to have grit. You have to know who your target market is. And you're trying to run a business. You're not doing some family get together of shampoos and conditioners. So I had to teach myself to be emotionally strong in that sense and just keep working. Because there, of course, people will always come and tell you that, why are you starting a business in Zim? Because especially with Zimbabwe, I'm sure you've seen as well, Prosper, most people when they graduate to leave the country. Yeah. Whether they're going to SA or they're going overseas, you see. So now you've done this brilliant master's project and you're staying in Zimbabwe and you're making hair butter. Like, people are looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, why are you doing this? You can go overseas and you can have this great, brilliant life. And for me, leaving the country really wasn't on my mind. I just wanted to, I love my country and I wanted to stay. And I just happened to now start this brand. But of course, people would discourage you. But while I was like, oh, well, too bad. Do you want to buy some shampoo while I'm here? So, yeah, that's how.
I can
Yeah.
only imagine. And hats off to you. I mean, I've just been the one person looking from, from the vantage point while I'm sipping my orange juice with a straw and just hearing stories of what's happening on the mainland, whereas you're there, you're literally building something from the ground up, what's and all. Congratulations. Like, I have so much
Thank you.
respect to people that literally create something and make it and give it as a gift to other people. Now, I just wanted to touch on that instance where you did mention that your family might not be there to support you and things of that nature, but you should also understand that they saw you with your cooler box with hearts in it, and they now don't understand how that transition happened from hearts to hair. And for those people that are really close, you need to actually give them grace, because they're still trying to get their heads around the very first thing that you presented to them.
Yeah. That's true. That's
And
true.
and
Yeah.
and now they don't know whether you came across crocodiles, and while you're holding them, you felt that the skin was so rough, you now decide you want to go into skincare for people.
That's a good point. Yeah. You're definitely right. Yeah. I should have had a little more grace for them, hey. But now I'm happy to say they're very supportive. I mean, they have to be. It's been 5 years. They can see I'm not going anywhere. So they have no choice but to be supportive.
It might as well. Now, you've also grown
Might
your
as well.
business from obviously the formulations. Now you're actually offering consulting to, some people that might be up and coming, and for people that might need your help. How has your role sort of evolved, and what sort of value are you bringing to other brands?
Okay, so my consulting journey was something that I didn't even expect or even think about. So one day I just randomly got a message on email from a consulting group based in Germany and GIZ. So they're like, hey, Wyonna, we saw you on LinkedIn. We saw the work that you do there. We're looking for experts. We need you to come to Lesotho, work on the ground for 3 weeks and train 20 cosmetic companies. And I was like, what? It was just so random like that. And I was like, of course. I mean, okay. And so, yeah, so this was this year in March when this all happened. So I went to Lesotho. It was amazing. It was really amazing. And it was also a learning journey for me because, like I said, I'd only ever formulated for myself. So now to go into the country, another different country, and help build their local cosmetic industry, it was really amazing. And it was eye-opening to see that actually, consultancy is based on building economies. I mean, if I look at all the people that I consulted for and worked with, where they are now from where I had first met them is truly amazing. Some of them I actually now have registered to go to fairs in Africa to go and display their products. And it's just the little things that matter. I mean, me telling them, okay, this time tweak your formulation like this to get your body cream to feel a certain way. Let's try and change your labels on your containers so they actually meet EU standards. It was just those little things that I saw made such a difference. And then when I came back to Zim as well, I've been working with a few other companies helping them tweak their formulations, helping them with their packaging. So for me, my consultancy is just, what month are we in now? We're in May from March. So I've just been in it for about 2-3 months, but it's really amazing. And I've always been somebody who wants to give back, and I just didn't know how I was going to implement that in my business. But now with my consultancy, it's proving to be something that I can do, and then I'm so happy to be able to do that as well.
Absolutely, and congratulations. Now, I don't know if you understand.
Thank you.
I don't know if you understand. First of all, I'm a girl dad, and every morning,
Oh,
every morning I get up and I'm doing my little girl's hair, and the older one has got dreadlocks, and I do those every every month or something like that. The amount of confidence, I can see it in the demeanor every time their hair is done. They really come alive and they really want to be seen. Can we go somewhere, because they want to show off their hair and stuff like that. And I can think
yeah.
or imagine that's exactly what every other woman or person out there feels when they feel confident that their hair is looking good and it becomes part of their identity. So you might feel like you're consulting with 20 companies in Lesotho, but you're literally helping a lot more other women that you might not even get to see feel the confidence of showing up in their true strength. Can you imagine a world where women come alive and they are fully confident to step into whatever room they're in?
As they naturally are.
You're doing
That is
amazing work.
amazing.
You're
Oh,
doing amazing.
thank you. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. It's great.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit more about your King and range. Sort of,
Okay.
you do cater. I think we were trying to figure it out earlier on. There's a classification from 3A to 4C type hair that you sort of work with and things of that nature. Could you just maybe
Yes.
walk us through what that means and what sort of products have you formulated to cater for that?
Okay. So my race, like I said, is called Kint, that celebrates kinky African hair textures. And generally, if you're looking at the classification of hair, it starts from 1A to 4C. But when we now zone it into the African hair textures, they usually range from 3A to 4C. So now when you're looking at the different classifications of hair, the lower numbers like 1A, 2A, 3A, they decrease in terms of being straight, you know what I mean? So 1A would be like your straight Caucasian hair. 3A would be a little more curly, and then the 4A would be a lot more curly and coily hair textures, which is what is basically found here in Africa. So because I wanted to embrace these specific hair strands, so I formulated products ranging from 3A to 4C. So right now my range consists of a shampoo. I've got your normal rinse out conditioner, as well as a deep conditioner, a leave-in hair butter, and different oils for users. So I've got your nourishing hair oil, which just is made up of avocado oil and grapeseed oil. So the specific reasons why I chose the oils that I use in my formulations, and this is because these oils actually penetrate the hair strands. They add in the nutrients that is necessary to not only soften the hair, but to also build up the strands, to prevent breakage, to deal with hydration issues. Castor oil, which is very good for receding hairlines, for thinning hairlines. Because if we look as well as the culture of how women do their hair, especially I'll speak for Southern Africa because this is where I am. Some of the hairstyles that we use, like the tight braiding, the weaves, sometimes these can impact our hair. You'll find that you end up having balding spots, you'll have like a thinning hairline, and I formulated products to help to deal with these issues. But like I said, it's mostly a lot about education. So I don't just sell you a product. So whenever I get a new customer, I always make sure to ask them, let me know what your current hair routine is. What do you use on your hair? How often do you shampoo your hair? What protective styles do you use on your hair? Do you use any heat? So that I can understand what your hair routine is, first of all. That will make me understand more what the problem is. And then we can come up with the solution together. And I give them a routine to try out, to say, let's try this out for 2 weeks, let's try it out for a month. We come back, we'll go back to the drawing board and look and see, because there's no way that I can just, for me, I just don't want to sell you a product. I want to sell you a solution and a routine that works for you, because all of our routines are different. What your hair needs, Prosper, may not be what my hair needs at the present moment in time. You know what I mean? So I try to tailor everything towards my clients and my customers' needs. And I've seen that that actually helps them so well, because they look at me and they're like, you know what, Wyonna, I never actually thought about what I was doing to my hair that was leading to all this breakage. I just thought my hair doesn't grow. And I'm like, no, everybody's hair grows. But you're not seeing any growth because there's a reason why your hair is breaking off, and we need to find out what that issue is. So it's quite exciting. I honestly enjoy it. And then when they come back to me a few months later and they're like, Wyonna, my hair is past my shoulders, it's doing so well and it's natural, and they send me the photos of their big afros, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. It's really cool.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now, where can people go to and find some of these products or inquire? What will be the best solution for their type of hair and stuff like that.
Okay. So I am excited to say I'll be launching my website in about 2 months' time. So that's on standby, but I'm also on all social media platforms as the Organic Biochemist. So you can find me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and soon, definitely on the website as well. And on my platforms, there's my email address. You can contact us at info@theorganicbiochemist.com, and the WhatsApp details are also on the platforms as well for
Okay,
any help.
not a
Yeah.
problem. I'll make sure that all those links are in the show notes below so that people can actually start their journey and inquire from you how you're working with them. Now, from what you're
Thank
saying,
you.
it kind of feels like you also then double up as a therapist or a coach for these people, because so many people have been marginalized. Not only does it showcase, or does it prove itself through or manifest through hair products not being adequately selected for their hair type and things of that nature, but it just goes down the line. Even if you look into our legal system, especially the African legal system, the lawyers themselves are still required to wear garbs and also wigs that resemble the patriarch, especially the colonial patriarch. So you can see that the system is just designed to look and feel the way it always was during that part. And I feel like you're literally giving the African woman's, you're literally giving them their life back.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you for that. I truly hope I am. And because I've had to walk that journey myself, and I've had to deal with myself in that aspect. And you know where I've seen that the actual issue might be is that even now when I approach maybe older women who've grown up in this type of environment that we're talking about, where everything was Caucasianized, um, they still will relax their hair and they'll wear their wigs, but they'll bring their little girls to me with their natural hair and be like, I need you to teach my daughter how to do her hair. Because they're at the point in time in their lives where they're just like, you know what, I've done this my whole life and I'm not going on this journey, but I want my daughter to be different. I want my daughter to love her natural hair. I wanted to celebrate it. So when I see these moms coming, with their little girls, and they're like, show us how can I do a hair? How can I do this? It's just, I don't even know how to explain it. It really brings me to tears because I'm like, and these little girls, they're so excited to get their kinked box, and they're like, no, I want to do our hair. I want to wear my afro to school. And then when they go to school, the moms send the photos, and I'm like, you know what? It's just not only the current generation that we're impacting, but I want to create a legacy for everyone coming through that, from whether the child is 2 years old or 40, 40-year-old grown up. I want them to embrace and to love themselves. And that's why I've now started actually focusing on going to primary schools and doing like little talks there. I'll approach the headmaster or headmistress and like, can I just come speak to your girls for 30 minutes, for an hour? I want to tell them that they're beautiful and that their hair is lovely. So that's what I do sometimes. I just go to the primary school and speak to the little girls. I tell them that, your hair is so pretty and all of these things. And they get so excited. And they literally drag their parents to my shop because sometimes I just find parents by the gate like, my daughter couldn't stop talking about you. She wants your hair butter. And I'm like, that's what we want. That's what we want. Come in, come in. So yeah, it's just about changing the mindset, and it just needs somebody to go up and tell them that, you know what, you're beautiful the way you are. Celebrate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm really excited we got to have this sit down here, Wyonna. I mean, your life story and your experience and what it is that you're doing and the gift that you are literally giving to the girl child out there. If there's just about anything that we can do to support your cause and your mission, why not? I'm really excited about the journey that you're on.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. But obviously you started us off, with the crocodiles ripping their hearts out. And now you are ripping our hearts out, literally. Was that intentional? Is that the whole
No, actually, it didn't start off that way. Hey, I didn't mean to be a heart ripper like that. I really did. But
well,
hey, wherever we begin from, that's where we begin from.
absolutely. I do understand. And thank you so much. Now, let us know what's next. You did tell us you've got a website coming up, but what can people be on the lookout for, especially when it comes to kinked, your hair products or the organic biochemist? What's next?
Okay. So, like I also did mention that I'm definitely working on my certification. So I'm really hoping it comes through so that I can begin exporting, because I do have lots of inquiries as well from people overseas, like in the UK, in the Canada, Australia. They want to buy the product, but I need to make it readily accessible. And to do that, I need to be compliant. So I'm working towards that, getting myself export ready. I'm also wanting to focus on actually creating a specific line for kids as well. So when parents come through, they can actually buy a little kinked box. I call them my little girls, I call them my kinked cuties. So I'm going to make a kinked cutie box just for them so that if you've got your little daughter, you can buy a kinked cutie box and you just give it to her. Because I think, something that is wrapped up and looks cute and is special really makes that sort of impact, especially on a little girl's life. So that's
Absolutely.
what I'm looking forward to. And I only don't do skincare. I mean, hair care, hey. I also do skincare and bath time products as well. But that brand, I'm currently revamping it. I want to release it in summer. So I also do stuff like your scrubs, your body cream. So literally, I cover you from head to toe.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
Wyonna, thank you so much for joining us on this enlightening episode of the Online Prosperity Show. I think your journey just really reminds us that personal challenges can actually lead to impactful solutions where passion then meets purpose. It doesn't matter where you start, but along the journey, you will find the right kind of things, the right kind of people. And before you know it, you're out there literally changing the world. So I can't thank you enough for the time that you spent with us on the call today.
Thank you so much, Prosper. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for wanting to hear my heart-tripping stories. I'm really honored. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And for those that are listening to this or watching this right now, if this episode resonated with you, why don't you share it with somebody who's also navigating, first of all, their own hair journey? They might find a product or two in Wyonna's range, or if somebody is also just maybe trying to navigate their own path to self-acceptance and entrepreneurship, they could also find solace in the story that we just unfolded here. And yeah, I'm just thankful for the team behind the scenes and everybody else that is making all of this happen and bringing stories like this to light. And I can't wait to see you, Wyonna, in a shop near me where I'll be like, I know that girl, but you know what people would say? Yeah, I don't think so. So just don't forget about us when you get all rich and famous.
Oh, don't worry, I won't. You'll be the first one. I'll give you royalties, actually.
Fantastic. Stay
Thank
tuned for our
you.
next episode where we're going to be exploring ideas on how to cultivate a happier existence. And I will put all those links to Wyonna's Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook so you can connect with her. So just check with your friends and relatives, especially if anyone has a 3A or 4C hair type. You really want to connect with Wyonna as she has found the solution to your wars. Until next time, bye for now.